Now, your story isn't too small. It just actually might be your superpower. You're over 40 and wondering if your story still matters. Well, you know what? You're not alone. In fact, the biggest mistake I see creators over 40 make is thinking that it's too late to start, or worse, that they don't have a story worth telling. Now, I know because I've felt that way myself, and I've worked with hundreds of creators over 40 who have said exactly the same thing. And I've seen what happens when they finally share their story. Everything changes. And that's exactly why I want to share this with you today. You see, by the end of this video, you'll know how to turn your lived experience into a message that attracts the right people, even if you feel lost or you're feeling late. Now, I'm going to share 3 powerful shifts that will make your story go from too small to actually your greatest superpower, especially if you're over 40. So let's walk through each one of them. Now, I've taken all of this information today from my community. I'll be sharing some insights into members of the community, and if this resonates with you, then please let me know in the comments, press the like button, all that great stuff. But also check out the community, because you might need that level of support. You might want people around you who can help you and guide you. Now, let's be honest, you've lived 10 lives. Maybe you're a teacher or a traveler or a coach, a parent like me, an entrepreneur. So picking one niche feels like you're literally cutting parts away from yourself. And let's be fair, who wants to do that? Now, I put a post out into the Heartbrand Creator Circle asking people what they felt was their biggest mistake or regret. And I've got some different insights, which I think are really powerful, because you might be having these same thoughts, these same feelings. And I think it's only right that I share them with you, because I believe that my purpose here on this planet is to, 1, communicate a kinder world. And that's kind of the whole business ethos. Because let's face it right now, with what's going on the internet, there's just so much dark and so much hatred and anger. And I believe us as creators, especially in our second season of life, can bring more light, can bring more purpose to the world of YouTube with our own internal superpower. And it starts with our stories. And I want to share an insight from the community thread that I created and what everybody has kind of input to and supported and what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? You get these blockages sometimes, contributed to. And one of them is Darius. And he shared this, and I thought it was beautiful. He said, I believe in getting a big river from many small streams. That's why I have many themes on my channel. But does it work? That's a really interesting question. Do you feel like that? You've got so much information, so many facets of your life. You want to put it all in. You've got to ask yourself the question, does it work? And this is the weight that so many creators hold upon their shoulders. Now, if you're in the second season of your life, maybe you're over 40, over 50, 60 or 70, like many of my clients, you've probably wrestled with this too. The idea that you have to choose one version of yourself and leave everything else behind, because that's what the gurus say, don't they? Niche down, pick a niche. But when you're in that second season of life, 40, 50, 60, you don't need to niche your identity. You need to anchor your content to a purpose. Who are you helping? Why does it even matter? See, once you create that, then the whole content marketing, YouTube, social media gets so much easier. But even with clarity, there's one thing that can still knock you off track, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Now, one of the biggest themes that came through the community thread, put my teeth back in, was, I know I've got experience, but who wants to hear from me? Do you feel like that sometimes? Like you have got so much to share, but kind of imposter syndrome gets stuck in your head. Now, a lady from the community, she said that she's got 30 years as a geologist and she's still wondering, Who the hell wants to listen to me? So many others articulate her topic so well and better than she ever could. Well, that's an internal conversation you're having with yourself. Have you felt like that? Are there people in your world, in your industry, that you think, do you know what? They do it better. Well, they just might have been doing it longer. I can certainly tell you from my time as a social media agency owner that there are people putting out content out there which is not very good, and they're getting tons and tons of business. That's not because they're any better than me or anyone else out there. It's just that they've got this consistency and they're showing up. And they're always seem to be online. Another lady, Jackie, she shared that she's got an MA in writing, years of experience and contacts, and yet still she questions her expertise. Well, do you know what? I question my expertise. I see a video, get an 8% click-through rate. I wake up the following morning, 12 hours later, boom. Now, that's not because of me, because the 8% has already showed that actually it's performing well. But YouTube's got this fun thing of showing you to a completely cold audience. And sometimes they don't get it right either. So when that high click-through rate bombs, it just means that the packaging hasn't resonated with a new audience. So you can look at that. You look at the title, the thumbnail. But if you've got an average view duration of, say, around 40 to 50%, the content's landing. So it's not the content, it's the outer world of your video. You see, at 40 plus, imposter syndrome doesn't disappear. It just wears different clothes. It now looks like silence, delay, procrastination, over planning, not posting. But here's what I've learned. Your audience won't show up until you do first. And if you stay silent, the people who need your story never get to hear it. How sad would that be? If you've ever felt too late or too scattered, this right now is your advantage, because your story in your second season of life has depth. Real depth and meaning. That's the difference between information and resonance. That's why at 40 plus, we are the best people to be getting on YouTube. Now, if that doubt is still holding you back, wait until you hear what creators like you did to finally push through. Now, I want to talk about a subject that really is quite prevalent in the world of YouTube, especially with more mature creators. It certainly hit me, and that's burnout. Burnout, health, mental health related burnout. I got that in my first year. I launched the channel. 6 months in, I was trying to do it like everybody else was, flashy edits and pop-up graphics and music and God knows what else. And what now takes me an hour to create a good, solid video used to take me 10 hours just to edit it. So we all can get carried away with comparison, and that then creates burnout on platforms like YouTube or any other social media channel. I've been through the research paralysis, that perfectionism, even that hard drive crash. But right now, burnout is real for us mature creators. And Tiffany shared her story as well in the thread, and it really, really hit home because I could identify. And she wasn't alone. And then there's Ken. Ken shared, I know what I should do, but something always gets in the way to convince me that I'm too busy. Have you experienced that? Let me know in the comments. Linda's shared that she tries to be consistent and focused, but finds it difficult to break the patterns of maybe getting into kind of an order to get things done. Now, I created a video taking you through a Monday, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and an hour a day, and ideas on a Monday, titles on a Tuesday, thumbnails on a Wednesday, bullet point scripting on a Thursday, and do some batch recording on a Friday. I'll put a link around this, or I'll put this video in the description. It might even be the one you watch at the end. But what's really, really important, and I teach all of my clients this, is that if we can set an hour a day as a meeting with ourselves, because we put it in a diary, it's a meeting with ourselves, we must show up for the meeting. And the key here to, especially succeeding on YouTube, is showing up. So if you can set that 1 hour a day and have that meeting with yourself, and on Monday you spend 25 to 30 minutes doing ideas and just researching ideas, going to YouTube, finding outliers, see how you can put your spin on it, how you can make it better, take your story in your depth over 40, 50, 60 years of experience and putting that in the stories and the teaching points, then you will have such quality, rich videos. And then we've got titles, haven't we? We need to put a title to that idea. And then on Wednesday, it will be thumbnails. But I teach the Pomodoro method. And it's so important because we get distracted, don't we? We have families, we have maybe a day job, we have, other commitments. The phone's always going off, pop-ups, emails, so much. And if we can just have that meeting a 1 hour a day, and that in that 1 hour, Mondays is a particular thing, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, then you will get this video live that you want to get out. You'll get that channel going. You'll start to create some momentum. Because just consider this. You go 4 ideas on a Monday, 4 titles on a Tuesday, 4 thumbnails on a Wednesday, 4 mini bullet pointed scripts that you can just create a hook and then riff it, just like I'm doing now, and then batch record those 4 on a Friday. Come the following Monday, you can load 1 a week for 4 weeks. Now, if you did that 2 or 3 times, within 3 weeks, you've got 12 weeks worth of content. And I think that is a very simple and effective and realistic way to get started on YouTube. And then as those videos grow and you get some comments, you make content for the comments because it's rich, it's data, it's human. It's human, and they've connected with you for a reason. Now, you might get 5 views, but if you get a comment, make a video for that one person, because chances are they're your ideal client. So many people create content for the people that aren't showing up. I was taught this really early on. Stephen, if there's 5 people in the room, serve the 5 people in the room. Don't get in your head about the 100 that said they were going to come but never did. Because you know what? It's these 5 that are really, really important. And it's the same with YouTube. It's not a quick win. It is a long haul. If you're not in this for the next 1 to 2 years, then you really need to have a conversation with yourself. I think the average channel length before people quit is 3 years. So you really need to be in this for the long haul. And even if it's just sharing frequently asked questions or frequently searched questions, and making a video and just sitting here with a cup of tea, that fireside chat type thing, and going for it, then you're making content and putting the reps in. Your first few videos, as I like to call them, will be ugly videos. And that's okay. You might do what I teach and practice in private first. I highly recommend it. But if you don't start, everybody else will fly past you and you will live with regret. Who wants that? So the system I've just given you will help you get past the burnout issue, because your energy has limits now, and we're in our 2nd season of life, and you and your channel, you should learn to respect your energy limits. See, this is not about posting more, but it's about building sustainability. Now, that might mean slow start, but I've given you a formula, and batch to save your energy. This isn't failure. This isn't procrastination. This is wisdom. And at our age in life, the smarter play is always focus, not more work and output. So where do we go from here? Well, that's where we bring it all together. See, your story isn't too small. It's the signal. It's the sign. If you've ever felt like your story is too small to matter, I want to offer you this single truth. Your story isn't a limitation. It's the bridge, and someone out there is waiting to walk across it. Charisse in my community, she said, I am the brand. Trying to fit myself into a niche wasn't possible, but when I started showing up authentically, everything changed for her. And then Jacqueline, she said a creator that she follows just started walking her dog, and then she pivoted to solo travel, and then life over 50. Now she's got over 100,000 subscribers. Over 100,000 subscribers. She found her niche by simply showing up and listening to what her audience needed. That is the gold. They will tell you in the comments. So if you're over 40 and you're wondering if it's too late, this right now, I wish I had this is your permission slip. Get started. Your takeaway from this video is really, really simple. Stop hiding behind indecision. Stop shrinking your stories. Instead, start from where you are and trust that your voice has the power. You're over 40. Your story isn't just relevant, it's what makes you relatable. You've lived through things and your audience is just beginning to face. That's not a weakness. That is actually your superpower. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I actually find my leash? My leash? Well, I'm probably wondering, how do I actually find my niche when I've lived 10 lives? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover in the next video, and I will see you there. Take care, much love. Click this one now.